Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, we're checking out the 30-minute Sisters Yufia kit. This one has been out for a little while. I'm a little bit late on this one, but this one was the one that I've been wanting to check out. And I actually have a really cool idea of how we're going to use this for a different custom build kind of video project very soon, so stay tuned for that. But for the time being, anyway, we're going to check out the box, the contents here, and the kit itself. Very cool, a little bit different kind of styling for this one, as this one kind of veered a little bit away from like the kind of like cyberpunk sort of mecha musume kind of style, and leans a little bit more towards like the kind of knight sort of fantasy style, almost kind of like blurring the line with the 30-minute fantasy line. Almost to a bit of a degree, but the design definitely looks pretty cool, so let's go ahead and get into it for today's video. And another thing that I noticed, aside from this just having a little bit different style to it, as I mentioned, is that the illustration style is also a little bit different. So I know that they have a couple of different artists that do the artwork, I think typically for the 30-minute Sisters lineup, but this one's a little different. And if you're ever curious, it does say here on the top of the box, this one's illustrated by Bun Bun. And if I remember correctly, it does also give you some more credits like that on the instruction manual, which we'll see here in a minute. But really nice illustration there on the front. On the side, you can see this is number 13 in the 30-minute Sisters lineup. And on the bottom of the box here, it shows our 3 pre-printed faces that we've got in there. Also some different options for like the actual mouth part there, it looks like, for different expressions. So a nice range of expressions here with this one, it looks like. You've got the normal mode there in light armor, and then the armed mode, and there's a look at kind of all the parts that you're going to use for that. So she's got this sword, and then these kind of like armor plate parts that go around the sides like that. A couple option parts there for the hair, a little shield part there as well. So some cool option parts included with this one. One thing that I've talked about with different 30-minute Sisters releases is that some of them feel a bit more complete than others. This one does strike me as one that's going to feel like pretty complete in that it doesn't leave you feeling like you need to buy more and that it's like just like a very basic set. Because that's the thing, is that these sets are meant to be basic and that everything's sold separately so you can kind of get whatever you want, but some of them definitely just kind of feel like you kind of don't really need anything else, that they include plenty in the box, and this one does feel like that. So we'll take a closer look at the face parts in the review portion of the video, but those do look pretty nice there at a glance. We do also have the FPJ5 runner there for option parts for our neck parts there, it looks like. And we'll get into the rest of the runners here in just a moment, but as for the instruction manual, we've got the artwork here again on the top, and I thought that this is typically where they put the like credits as for like the illustration and the model designer and stuff like that, but maybe I guess not for this one. Anyway, here's the sister, the action, some more images here, again just talking about how you can mix and match with 30 minutes missions kits, 30 minutes of fantasy stuff of course there. So again, with this one already kind of having a little bit more of a sort of a knight sort of aesthetic to it, it would make sense to be one that you could very easily mix with 30-minute fantasy. And I mentioned a custom project, so a lot of you might be guessing that that's what I had planned, but it's actually not. Something a little bit different, in fact. But anyway, here's the parts list, and you can see how the runners are just broken up into section, like hair parts, like torso parts, arm, leg, hair, head. That's just kind of how they're separated, but it doesn't really matter a whole lot. And here's also the breakdown of which parts you need for which section of the build. So like these parts here from the different runners are, you can just like gather as these are all the parts that you'll need for just building the torso, whereas these are parts for the arms, looks like legs, and then weapons and accessories and everything. So they do break it down for you like that if you want. And then we do have our Chibi Yufia character here, which you'll see throughout the manual there and there for a couple of examples. That is one thing that I do enjoy about the 30-minute Sisters manual, is that they have the chibi character art in there kind of along the way that just kind of gives you tips about the build. And we do also have a little bit here at the end letting you know what parts are going to be left over. And yeah, you have stuff like this here just letting you know swap out the face parts to suit the vibe and stuff like that, so it's fun. As for the rest of the runners, we have this very interesting one, TA1, for a couple of white parts there. HP 01, 02, and 03 obviously going to be our hair parts here in a light yellow. The A runner here is in 4 colors, some skin tone there at the top, this kind of off-white, very light gray color here, some yellow parts there for the outfit, as well as this gloss black part there for the sword. So very interesting that that's in this high gloss. It looks like a clear black almost. Then runners B1, B2, B3, and B4 are all here in a very light gray off-white color there. Runner C is some more parts here in yellow for our like joint connection parts. Runner D we have here in black. It's actually going to be runners D1, D3, and D4. Runners E1, E2, E3, E4 connected on here. More parts in light gray, off-white. And then runner F1, F3, and F4 joined together here in light gray. Not quite as light as what we've seen, but another shade of light gray there for some of the armor parts and everything. And that's it for all the runners. Let's go ahead and check her out. Alright guys, and then here is the kit all built up. Obviously, as usual, we're going to start off just by taking a look at the kit in its base form here. I really like the design of this one. It really is quite unique. For some reason to me, it just does kind of stand out a little bit in certain ways. I think it just really comes down to the armor design, as I mentioned before, with it just being a little bit different for this one. I do like that aspect of the kit, and then I like that the hairstyle is also a little bit different, a little bit more unique with this one as well. So that's all really nice. Otherwise, as far as just like the basic construction goes, of course, you pretty much know what to expect with these. Really nice range of articulation. Very fun and simple and pretty quick construction on these. They can put them together in a pretty short amount of time. I mean, I guess as the 30 minutes label implies. But not only that, we do have some cool accessories, so let's go ahead and get into it. And so with this, we do have some standard accessories like these little bits here, adapters for the back, basically. Here at this hard point, you can attach this piece in that will give you 2 hard points there in the back. And then if for whatever reason you have like some stuff here in the way and it's kind of hard to get the action base connector here into the back, you have this little like kind of extension piece, not really all that particularly useful. It does sort of fit down here as well, I suppose. And then we've got the standard options for here for these ring parts. So this is just the ring without any connection parts on it. You do also have versions of those with either a circle peg or a rectangular peg there. And then similarly here at the wrist, you have these circle pieces, or you have circle parts that have a 3mm peg on the side. And the same for up at the bicep there as well. You have 2 options. Other than the circle pieces that are on there now, you have ones that have hard points if you want to attach more stuff onto the kit. For the hand option parts, it's also just going to be pretty standard for this. We have closed fists. We also have a set of open expressive hands and weapon holding hands here that are square in the shape of the space there for holding onto your weapons. For our face option parts, we have just that regular smiling face, and you have this open mouth smiling face there that even has a separate part for the teeth. The part for the teeth and then the part for like the tongue inside the mouth are 2 separate parts in there, so that does look really nice. And then similarly, you have that same nice part separation for our third and final face here, which is this open mouth angry face here, which should be great for doing like action poses and stuff. For the hair, we've got a couple of options here. As you can see, I've got that part with like the 2 little white armor pieces inside there, but if you wanted to have the bangs without those parts in there, we can remove that outer part and then remove these little white bits, just have those omitted from there like so. And then when we plug this part onto here, this version of the bangs will actually work to just cover up the points where those white parts plug in, and so then you can have the hair just like that without those. And then we do also have a third option here, which has a hard point in the center of the head. That will allow you to attach armor pieces onto the front of the face if you want, and that's actually shown here in the manual. For an example, you can attach this part here from the Liber Knight kit, a 30-minute fantasy kit. You can attach that part of like the face mask from that kit onto the front of the head of this one if you wanted to. Another option part is going to be here for the chest. So this armor piece here on the front of the chest, if you didn't want to use that, you have this little piece here which has this little kind of like molded detail of a sword, and that just plugs into the front there instead if you wanted something with just obviously a much lower profile. Or you can use this hard point for attaching whatever else you want onto there, because that is going to be, again, a standard 3mm peg hole size there. And now getting into our weapon accessory parts. So you have this one, which is basically just like a little hammer. It's kind of odd, it's very weird, just a little stick with a kind of hammer there on the end of it. Not really the most interesting thing, to be honest. You have this shield here with this handle part. You can omit the handle if you want. That'll just give you hard points on the front and back that you can use. And then this peg right here, which you can also use to attach onto the back here like this. Actually on the box art, you can see that it's actually attached onto the back of the kit there. But if we swap this ring part here at the wrist for this one here that has the peg on the side, then you should be able to, in theory, plug the shield onto the side of here. I think it might also, depending on if that's how you wanted to display it, you could cut off that peg and just kind of get that out of the way. Otherwise, you can kind of make it work here, just kind of working around that, have the shield attached here onto the side of the arm, something like that. That way this hand is still freed up to be able to hold onto a separate weapon if you wanted to. Because then we do also have her sword, a much more interesting weapon with this one, especially with that clear black part there for the blade. It does look really nice, and the kind of high gloss black for that. Quite unique design for the weapon here. And then as you can see, we have hard points with this as well. You could attach different stuff onto it if you wanted to even use a different handle or a different blade. It's just the blade plugs into the handle, and again, just a standard 3mm peg there. So that would be very easy to customize as well. If you wanted to swap that out with some different 30 minutes fantasy or 30 minutes missions option parts, you can easily do so. And then we've got her armor skirt here, which is just going to attach into the back side of her hip section. And then these are articulated. Of course, there's a couple of of different ways that you can move and rotate these parts around. You'll be able to bring them further to the front, have them more up, have them more down. Of course, you could make them completely inverted if you wanted to. And then again, these are attached via hard points on here, so you could actually set this to be a bit shorter here, and so you can kind of see the difference whether you wanted to have like no gap or a gap there, depending on how long you wanted these armor pieces to be. So there's a little bit of option there. And then obviously we have hard points on here for attaching more stuff onto there if you wanted to. If you just make a simple peg to connect these, you could attach like multiple into each other to make this even longer, something like that. So you can get creative with it, certainly. Then we're just going to attach that here into the back of the hip section. But again, you could definitely, you know, customize it, make it kind of how you want, and attach this onto the backpack, or not like the backpack, but make it like a backpack, attach it onto the back of the torso if you wanted. If you preferred, you could get creative and just basically attach them onto like the back side of the head if you wanted to, in place of the hair parts here. So there's certainly plenty of ways that you could choose to equip this if you wanted. We'll take a look at a couple of different examples here in a minute, but I do really like these armor pieces there for the skirt. Just a kind of interesting design there for those, so I really like the look of those. And as for the rest of the kit itself, I mean, everything is going to be pretty standard here just in terms of the construction and the articulation. It's really nice that we have those solid pieces for the top of the arm and the top of the thigh as well, so you don't have seam lines there. Color separation is nice between the black, white, and yellow parts of like the outfit, and then you have some bits of the skin tone kind of showing through there in a few areas, and these armor panels here for the knee as well. These, of course, just going to be attached via a hard point there. So again, if you wanted to swap these for something different, you could easily do that. And the feet are also quite interesting in that they have this large loop section that kind of goes around there at the back, makes it kind of unique. And you even have hard points here on the bottom of the feet as well. So plenty of options if you wanted to customize this even further. But again, even if you did not want to customize this, or you just didn't have anything like or on hand that you thought would be good for customizing this, you just wanted to just keep the kit on its own, I think this is another one of those 30 Minute Sisters releases that it does feel very complete on its own. It does feel like you can get like a lot of stuff in there in terms of option parts for the hair, nice options for the weapons between the shield, the hammer, the sword, and then the armor panels, and you can kind of mix and match those parts around in different ways. So I think you actually get a lot on this one, and it's definitely one of the nicer ones in the line, I would have to say. You know, just as far as the design and the colors and like the hairstyle and everything, that's all going to be subjective. I mean, people will have their preferences as far as which ones are going to be some of their favorites, but this is one that I could definitely recommend to you guys. It feels like you do get kind of everything in there, and I'm really looking forward to working on this one a bit more. Actually, I do have plans to use this for a different custom project coming up, and you guys will see more about that in the near future. But I definitely enjoy taking a look at these 30 Minute Sisters kits, and this one is really nice, and there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do with this. So definitely check it out if you haven't yet. If you want to check out this kit for yourself and more from the line, either like the main kits or the option parts or 30 Minute Fantasy stuff, and there's a lot of different things that you could do as far as mixing and matching between the lines. Of course, that's kind of the whole thing. Yeah, if you want to check out some more of this stuff, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got loads more of the 30 Minutes label releases there on the site, so check that out. And yeah, if you guys have any other further questions or comments about this particular kit, of course, let me know in the comment section. But that's about all there is for this one. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Is this one that you picked up already, or one that's on your wish list, or is it one that you're gonna now add to your wish list now after seeing it in action? Let me know. And as always, thank you so much for all of your support, guys, checking out the video, leaving a like, making sure you're subscribed. I really appreciate it so much. Thank you. And until next time, I hope y'all are doing well. I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.